Chalky, Crocro. Crocro said, it's amazing how people change. And as director of culture, you have prevented him from singing a calypso at a show. Explain.
Well, the first thing you have wrong there is the word prevented. Uh, Certainly, I as ChalkDUST would never prevent Crocro from singing in a show. And it's a wrong word to use because nobody prevented Crocro from singing in any calypso show. Crocro, of course, invented the word prevented. And you have to understand the whole issue before you come to a conclusion. And I don't know if you want to have the whole issue here.
Go right ahead.
It'll take a long time.
Is guy so?
Yeah, what happened is that an officer invited Crocro, not Crocro, spoke to Crocro's manager, asking him whether he would sing a certain calypso, what calypso he would sing, given the theme of the folk fair. The theme of the folk fair was in honor of Beryl McBurney, and the officer was asking him whether such a song would fit, what kind of song he would sing. So his manager told him that they are trying to form a program, and they are asking him to sing a certain song to fit in the program. And Crocro was angry. He says, why must they tell me what to sing? So Crocro flew into the ministry, demanding that nobody could tell him what to sing on a show. That's how it started. And the officer was saying, I have to make a program, and I was just asking you that certain songs you're singing might not fit into a program to honor Beryl McBurney. And he got fine rage, and he took it from there, and the press took it from there and said, we're trying to prevent him from singing a song. Nobody did. Nobody prevented him from singing any song. They were just trying to form a program. Nobody even invited him. They were trying to form a program. But he took it up, and that is how Calypso makes the honor roll, as it were. He took it up, and they blew it out of proportion.
So he twisted the facts and used it to his own woman fancy on stage.
That's a good Calypsonian, and what he did. And that is how, if you understand Crocro, that's what he does, and he likes that.
Would you have done the same?
I might have done the same, but given the circumstances and what happened, I wouldn't have done it because it was definitely trying to show the ministry and I personally into a bad light, but Crocro did it because at that time there were certain misgivings about the calypso in the population, and so he used that mercilessly to show that somebody prevented, but nobody prevented, and I've written it, I've aired it, I've said nobody prevented Crocro, and he knows that from singing on any stage.
You as the director of culture in Trinidad and Tobago, have you ever compromised your professionalism as a Calypsonian since being the director of culture?
And I would never do that. In fact, when I became director of culture, when they appointed me as director of culture, I told them I am ChalkDUST. And as ChalkDUST, I remain ChalkDUST. But a lot of Calypsonians, a lot of people cannot see the difference between ChalkDUST and the director of culture. A lot of Calypsonians don't have no respect for the director of culture. They feel they could tell the director of culture anything because he's ChalkDUST. And one has to understand the difference, and one has to respect the director of culture, and one has to understand ChalkDUST's position. As ChalkDUST, I sing my calypsos, I do what I want as ChalkDUST. As director of culture, you have to have respect for me.
Speaking in terms of the director of culture, and I know that we always talk off camera the documentation of Calypso per se and the plans to do such. How would you say Calypso would look in the future in terms of documentation as far as Trinidad and Tobago is concerned and under your ministry?
One of the main things we have done, that I have put forward and government has accepted, is our Carnival Institute. And our Carnival Institute is based on documentation and research. It has been accepted. It has not come into fruition as yet, but certainly it's going to go to cabinet very soon. We are now trying to arrange the written work for cabinet. But the idea, the principle has already been accepted. And in this Carnival Institute, we are going to be learning and studying and have research and have accreditation for people from university level right down to the smallest child making a mass. We're going to have accreditation for Calypsonians, Spanish, etc., etc. And we're going to document and have libraries and all these things about all carnivals, not only in Trinidad and Tobago, all over the world for research for students, etc. So it's a big thing that's happening, and I'm proud to be part of it.
And I would like you to know that CultureShare will be their doors open for you to give you whatever you need in terms of our archives.
Sure, and we need it because we need things like CultureShare. We need things like what is happening in England where they're having their database. We need things in Toronto set up also one. So we need to collect all these things so students could understand Carnival, and not just Trinidad's Carnival, but carnivals all over the world, and compare and contrast and learn the biographies and study the biographies of persons who have made Carnival, people like Crocro.
We have been reading in New York here that there seems to be some plans, according to the reports, that there may be some changing around of the major shows in Carnival in TNT. Elaborate, please.
Well, definitely there'll be some changes. The NCC itself, the National Carnival Commission, who reports to the minister, they want to make changes in Carnival. Because Carnival is always changing. Carnival has always been changing, like Calypso, and the structure for keeping Carnival has always been changing. This year in Trinidad, we went through a lot of changes in terms of physical facilities, for example. Next year, what they're planning to do, they are thinking of having a better and greater flow of the Carnival bands across the stage. And to this end, the minister put forward certain proposals, one of which was to build a paved road across the savannah. But the conservationists have got down upon her and says that you can't do that. So you always have the little kind of people who will say yes to no and so on. But they are only proposals. And certainly we intend to hold a number, the ministry which I am there, we intend to hold a number of symposia throughout the whole year on different aspects of Carnival. With the view is to, when we're talking physical facilities, to meet with the physical people who know about that, construction. When we're talking road march, to meet with the Calypsonians, etc. And the idea is also to have to meet all of them, to meet at the end with the public and say, these are what the experts are saying. How does the public feel? The minister also feels that that different groups, interest groups, should run their own carnival. Like the Calypsonians do their own thing, the Steel Bandmen do their own thing, and the National Carnival Bands Association do their own thing. So she's hoping that each person, given the resources, will do their own thing, and the NCC becomes the facilitator. Now, this will eradicate all any little problems that the Calypsonians may have. They will want to pick their own judges, for example, and they will blame themselves if anything go wrong. Similarly for the Steel Band, similarly for the Carnival Band Association. But again, it's only a proposal. They have accepted with certain reservations. So she's hoping, or the ministry is hoping that all these reservations will be smoothed out in time for Carnival next year.
Okay, let me speak to you now as ChalkDUST the Calypsonian again.
Sure.
It's Put They Put Me So. Mm-hmm. That's a good Calypso.
Well, I'm glad you found so.
Do you have the urge sometimes to really get on that stage and jam down that stage and wind down that stage and get on bad?
Of course.
But then something to stop you. Do you really get that urge?
Of course, of course. When I see lesser talented person than me jumping up on the stage and getting all the heroes welcome, as it were, sometimes I feel to do the same. But then again, it will not be ChalkDUST, and I was not cut out in that ilk. So I hold my reservations. I prefer to sing chalk and cheese. Yeah, I prefer chalk and cheese, man.
Yeah, that is a good one. That is a good one. But it's Put Me So. The reason why, because that sort of epitomizes the ChalkDUST as they really are.
Definitely.
So you really can't change.
Really can't change this. Yeah, leopard can't change the spots. And one of the first calypso I sang, I remember when I sang G.B.T.V, the last lines were, "Until I die, they'll hear my cry." G.B.T.V. So I've been cutting that elk, so I can't change. A leopard can't change the spots.
Thank you so much, Chalky. It's been a pleasure.
God bless, man.
All right.